Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Anna. This week on Motherly Law, I discussed the dangers and liabilities associated with bounce houses or inflatable structures. And it turns out they're a lot of fun, but also can be quite dangerous, including even lead exposure. And I actually learned quite a bit from the research I did on this topic, and I would encourage you to go read those posts if you have not, and follow the precautions set out there. I'm actually trying to figure out how I can keep my kids away from them, and I don't think it's going to be possible. So at least minimize your dangers by following the precautions. And this week I have three topics to briefly discuss. The first one is a Florida case. The woman and her boyfriend were convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 12 years in prison this week. The woman's 2-year-old was killed by the family's pet python. The python was 9 feet long, was severely underweight, hadn't been fed in a month, and poorly housed. And easily escaped and had done so numerous times. And they found the snake coiled around the 2-year-old head in her crib, and the snake had strangled her. And so this brings the issue of exotic pets to light once again. I feel like it's in the news quite a bit, and people do not use precautions or good judgment for that matter. So this case and the problem of so many pythons in Florida has spurred a Florida senator to introduce legislation in September that would make it illegal to import Burmese pythons to the U.S. And restrict interstate sales of the pythons. So it'll be interesting to see where that legislation goes. Secondly, there's a case from Colorado. A teacher who was breastfeeding her child needed time in between classes to pump her breast milk, and this was seen as a problem, and the school district fired her. She decided to fight this and filed a lawsuit. And Colorado did pass a law several years ago that says employers must give their employees, the breastfeeding mothers, a place and time to do so. So we'll see what happens here. And thirdly, Illinois is looking to introduce some legislation that would make it a felony if a parent whose child is missing more than 24 hours fails to report that child missing if the child is under 13. If the parent fails to report the child missing in that 24-hour period of time. The article that I read was arguing whether or not that would actually be helpful, because a parent who needs to be threatened with a criminal conviction in order to report the child missing is probably not a good parent, first of all. Secondly, the article also argued that the people that might not report their child missing might also lie about when the child went missing in order to avoid this felony charge. So, and clearly this proposed legislation was spurred by the Casey Anthony case in Florida. Casey Anthony failed to report little Kaylee missing for over 30 days. So we'll see what Illinois does with that, and if it indeed would really aid in the search for missing children, or or simply delay the surge, or put it at risk with if a parent was lying about the facts. I have links to each of these articles in this post that you can read more about them. And lastly, for those in the Twin Cities area, I do have 2 tickets to give away to the Minnesota State Fair. The State Fair started yesterday and runs through Labor Day. I will give those away at, let's say 10 a.m. on Saturday. So you have till then to enter. You can leave a comment here, tweet about it, share it on Facebook, or follow me on Facebook or Twitter. And for each of those that you do, please do leave a separate comment telling me what you have done to enter. I think that about wraps it up. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining me. Over and out.